Okay, chapter 6-7 is factoring all the different ways that we've learned so far. So we'll go over the steps of how we're supposed to factor. Okay, step 1 is to see if we can find the greatest common factor first. Step 2, if there are two terms, we need to see if they are a difference of squares. Okay, step 3, if it's three terms, we do a diamond. Step 4, if it's three terms with a number in front of the x squared, so we'll call that ax squared. You're going to have to do a diamond and a box. And step 5 is the one that we learned in chapter 6-6, which is if there are four terms, factor by grouping. Okay, example 1, 10x to the third minus 40x. Step 1, look for the greatest common factor. I have the greatest common factor, that number I can pull out is 10 and letter is x. That leaves me with x squared minus 4. Okay, inside the parentheses we have two terms, so we have to see if that's a difference of squares. And x squared is a perfect square, 4 is a perfect square, and there's a minus in the middle. So that is a difference of squares. So we're going to factor the difference of squares. X times x gives us the x squared. 2 times 2, one is positive, one is negative. And there's no more difference of squares, so that is the answer. Example 2, we see if there's a greatest common factor. That's step 1. No, there's not. It is two terms, so now I have to see if it's the difference of squares. 2 to the 4th is a perfect square, 16 is a perfect square, and there's a minus in the middle. So that is a difference of squares. We get 2 squared and 2 squared. 4 and 4. One's a plus, one's a minus. Okay, it looks like t squared minus 4 is also a difference of squares. So I go ahead and bring this one down, and then I'm going to factor the t squared minus 4, which is a difference of squares, into t and t. 2 and 2. One's a plus, one's a minus. And this last one is not a difference of squares, so we are done. Okay, example 3, it has 4 terms, so it's factored by grouping, but before I do that, I still check to see if there's a greatest common factor. There isn't, so then I'll do the grouping. That's the first group, that's the second group. Okay, and what can I pull out of the first group? I can pull out a 2 and an a squared. That leaves me with a plus 5. What can I pull out of the second group? No, the only thing that goes into both is 1. Okay, so then my answer is a plus 5, and then what's left over is 2a squared plus 1. Okay, example 4, x to the 4th minus 10x squared plus 25. I check to see if there's a greatest common factor. There isn't. I see that it's 3 terms, and there's not a number in front of the x to the 4th, so I can do a diamond for this one. First number times last number is 25. Negative 10, the middle number goes in the bottom. Two numbers that multiply to 25 and add up to negative 10 are negative 5 and negative 5. Okay, so this factors into minus 5 and minus 5. Now, that's x to the 4th. So the only way we can get x to the 4th is x squared, x squared. So it's x squared minus 5 and x squared minus 5. Or you can write it, and none of those are difference of squares, so it's just x squared minus 5 quantity squared, if you want to write it that way. Okay, example 5, 2a to the 3rd plus 7a squared plus 3a. We look for a greatest common factor, and there is one, it's a. That leaves me 2a squared plus 7a plus 3. Okay, we have 3 terms with a number in front of the a squared, so we're going to have to do a diamond and a box. 2 times 3 is the 6, 7 goes down there, so what two numbers multiply to 6 and add up to 7? That'd be 6 and 1. Okay, so now I have to do a box. Okay, first term goes here, last term goes here. We'll put the 6a here and the 1a here. Okay, how can we get 2a squared? 2a times a, 2 times 3 is 6a, a times 1. Okay, so then our answer is the a, that's the a that's down here, it's still there. A plus 3 times 2a plus 1.